Welcome, welcome, welcome. And I am so pleased to have finally got some stuff together to be able to get online consistently. So my first live attempt today failed, unfortunately. So we're here an hour and a half later than expected. So hello, and probably a lot of you are going to end up having to watch the rerun, which is really okay. So today in Melbourne, it's a really rainy day. Well, I'm not actually in Melbourne, am I? I'm in Milan. Nonetheless, we're ready to go, and the three things that we're going to talk today about are selling your art online, what your various options are, and what kind of considerations you'll need to think about when you make that decision to sell your stuff online. There are many various platforms, and there are many things that are probably worth considering when you, hi Sharon, when you decide to take that leap, if that's a path you want to follow. Not everyone wants to sell their art. A lot of people do it just for pleasure, cathartic reasons, healing, and just the sheer joy of watching yourself expand and learn new skills. And that is a fabulous thing to have in our daily lives anyhow. Another thing I just will want to talk about in brief is a little program that Suzana Dancks and Laura Usher Brown are going to be launching on their fluid art community with Suzana Dancks, and they're starting a little bit more of a formalized way of interacting within their groups that has more focus and more purpose. And the last thing we're going to do today is have a little unboxing. Well, maybe that should be the first thing we do today. Yeah, let's do that. So, Kim Gao, thank you, and Jackie, thank you, sent me this. And I have only just opened the top of it so that I'm not fiddle fighting on camera. If you've watched me before, I can become quite clumsy. So let's get into the beautiful colour passion products and see what we've got. Okay. Hi Maggie, have some fun, darling. Enjoy. Love, Kim and Jackie. Thank you. So what have we got here? We've got Passion Paste Cell White, and that's the white pigment that you pour over your colours and will get cells. Oh no, that's the base. It's the one you put at the bottom of your creation, then swipe colours over the top, and it will allow for that cell formation via the colour swiping over the top of the base. Passion Top Cell White, that will be the one that you pour over the colours. Black Passion Pigment. Ooh. Luxury Gold Powder Test, can't wait to see that. Luxury Silver Powder, Max Sparkle Gold, Deep Turquoise, Mint, Spearmint, Dark Mushroom, Green Onyx, Exotic Teal, ooh. Flambe Sparkle Sample, Blue Gold Shimmer, that sounds interesting. Bronze Luster, Mandarin, Monet Blue, and Purple Honor. Let's look at them. Oh, these are the nice little cards. And I know that you see this backwards. Does anyone have any way that you can post a little sign up and then see it frontwards? But they're nice. How stylish is that? I know you might. It's nice, isn't it? Okay. Oh, okay, so I've got some really nice little samples here. Mandarin, Bronze Luster. Where's the spot for me to put them as I go? Oh, I'm just going to have to put them on the ground. Gold Shimmer. Now let me see if I can angle that for you to catch that gold through there. Yes, you can. Oh, Flambe Sparkle. I don't think I'm saying that right. Flambe Sparkle. Flambe. It reminds me like of Alaska Bombay. You know how I could never say that properly when I was little or big. That's so sparkly. And Monet Blue. Now we're getting to the really unwrapping. Let's have a look at this packaging. Nice packaging. They come completely sealed like this, so there'll be no leakage. Really nice wide tubs, so easy access. Oh, it feels very luxurious opening it like this. Very professionally done. Oh, really nice packaging. Nice on the top, exotic teal. Oh, I haven't got a stirrer. That would have been good. Okay, so I'm having a look at the paste itself, and there's no separation. So whatever the binder is that's used possibly has some kind of suspension additive, because often when you make your powder into a paste just using part A, the pigment will sink, the powder pigment will sink to the bottom of the jar, and you won't have this held creamy finish. Very, very nice. Do you like how wide that is? So it's easy access. I love it. Love that color. I'm not going to open them all, but how cool was that, and how luxurious does it feel? Very nice. 50 grams. Dark mushroom. It's like Christmas, isn't it? Oh, a powder, green onyx. See that? Oh, I'm just looking at it's really stylish. Like, see how it's got this done on the side? The mushroom was gorgeous, wasn't it, Sharon? These are really, really gorgeous. Deep turquoise, and that is super saturated pigment. I mean, it almost looks black, and it won't show itself as being turquoise until it's actually in with the resin. It's a paste. Black passion. Look at that. I'll pick that back up now, because I didn't realize they were in together. But the deep turquoise, see how dark it is? Because that's the black there. Very cool. Purple Honor. That's going to be incredible too. Oh, gosh, it just goes on and on. It's fantastic. Super, super duper whooper is Christmas. Wow, mint. Spearmint. So those two working together. Beautiful for beach scapes. Oh, did you come across some of those articles in the last couple of months talking about how beachscapes are so out? Or so yesterday? I just want to say quickly and in brief, you know I have a gallery, right? One of the things that sells consistently and always is seascapes, or things that people can look into and it looks like the sea, or part land and part sea. So the combinations of using browns, whites and blues. Best seller always, because remembering that the audience who's coming to buy your stuff isn't immersed in resin art like we are, or acrylic pouring either. So they are coming in often for the first time, and something that we have all done for a long time, we've now perfected, and we should be selling that stuff now. Just something to think about when you're getting tired of doing the same thing over and over again. If you're going into selling it, it's probably your best thing because you've nailed it. Oh my God, look at these. Oh, you can't see them yet. Luxury gold. Comes in like a test tube. Oh, this is so sparkly. Maximum sparkle. I'll put those two together. Can you see that difference? the silver, luxury silver, and it certainly feels luxurious. Snazzy packaging. Feels really, just feels really nice to have something that seems quite accessible and also novel. Like it's just nice having new things. You know, when you use a lot of something like makeup, for example, you know how you like having something that might be similar but comes different, so it's a different experience to use. This is a bit like that. Oh, we're at the bottom of the box. These are the last two. Oh, these are the whites, so they're just going to look white. But again, that nice seal and passion base and the passion top. Really digging how broad they are for easy access. All right. So it's raining, it's humid. Won't be doing a test pour today, but I will definitely be getting onto that this week for our show and tell next week. Okay. Now, I want to just quickly have a quick talk about what Suzana Dancks and Laura are going to be starting as of tomorrow. So their Facebook group is Fluid Art Community with Suzana Dancks. And what they're doing is having a collaboration between the two of them. As you know, they are, Suzana is the head of our beautiful, well-loved Lorez Expressions pigment pastes, and Laura is the US distributor. If you're in the United Kingdoms, there's a new distributor, Stuart, and in Australia, you can get your Lorez pigments from Suzana or Sue Findlay. So, and there's also a Canadian distributor, and I'm sorry whoever you are, but just know this, I'll make sure I put all of the distributors in the link at the bottom after I've done this recording and uploaded it. So Lorez, has got a great, fantastic, strong reputation of quality outcomes, and we see top artists using these products all over the world. You might be wondering at this point, Maggie, you've just spoken about Color Passions and now you're speaking about Lorez. What's going on with you? Well, this is what's going on with me. I'm not sponsored by either of those companies. I am just doing show and tell to help you know what's available for your creative processes. And the more you know, the more you're able to buy to suit your needs. And in truth, what I love about using a variety of products from different companies is that, as we know, the chemical reaction between the color and the binder is what creates great effects. So for example, I know that if I'm using a Lorez Passions, I've blurred them, sorry about that, a Lorez Expressions paste and a A1 pigment powder, I'm going to get an incredible interaction, because however I use the powder and bind that up is going to be completely different to what is used in the Lorez Expressions as a binder. So part of that is what makes the product so exciting and so awesome to use. The other thing is that I'll always be bringing and introducing new products to you so that you can be aware of what is coming in and on the market, because sometimes it's hard to keep up when you've got a full-time job and a family to organize and work with, and your sidekick. You don't want to listen to what's in and out, Paula? Fair enough. Anyway, that's what's going on with the pigments, and that's why I'm covering them both. Anyway, Suzana and Laura on Fluid Art Community with Suzana Dancks are going to be starting a coffee chat group, and it starts tomorrow at 10 a.m. Australian time or 6 p.m. CST, Saturday evening. I'm not sure what the CST stands for, but that's the American timing. And it's a group that's going to kick off tomorrow, talking about topics and different ways that they can support you as artists grow and have connected projects and thrive. So do tune into that. It's going to be very cool. And the last thing I wanted to talk about today is selling your art online. Now, the three primary ways that you can consider selling your art online is firstly, hi Mara, thanks for rejoining us, is firstly your own website. And it doesn't matter how sophisticated your website is or how one landing page it is, it can be a good point of reference just for people to go and see that you are a legitimate business or person selling your art. It's a step up from Facebook, but by all means, if you are having really good success with your selling on Facebook, you continue doing that. You do what works for you. One thing about selling your art online is that one person's way of doing it successfully may not be another person's way of doing it successfully. So you'll know that there are platforms that are specifically designed for you to join up to and sell your art online, such as Blue Thumb in Australia, Sashi, Etsy. All of these places allow you to join into that platform that's specifically designed for artists and promote yourself, and to have a small website of your own can be helpful, or you might find that it's too much having to manage and keep up to date 2 websites. Then on top of that are our social media platforms where you can promote yourself as an artist and engage with your potential audience, and that's a really important thing to do so that your potential customers have a sense of who you are. And sometimes people are buying not just the product, but because they love and want to support you and love your art. And you may have heard of the concept of storytelling being thrown around a lot in terms of marketing yourself, but it really does have a lot of truth to it. You think about the things that you like to buy and what you know about that brand. It can actually inform whether you choose to go with them or against them. So for example, I've chosen to not shop at Woolies this week because I'm really annoyed at how they have recently been caught out deliberately not paying wages to their customers. Now equally, I don't thanks darling, I don't particularly like Coles and I don't particularly like any of the big brands, but in terms of thinking about who I'm going to shop with and what I'm going to invest my money into, it does come with a story behind it, many of those brands. And you're the same. You might be a small artist with beautiful things, but people want to connect with you as a person as well. And this is where, thank you darling, this is where it's really important to have some kind of way of engaging. So it doesn't really matter what platform you choose to have your art on. Spend some time working out how you can talk about, not even necessarily yourself, because that can be private, but about the process of engaging with art, maybe how you got into art, what you enjoy about it, and what particular pieces you've got up for sale, say. And even functional art often has a story behind it, even just the way you're choosing colours. It can be mood influenced, and that can also assist with ambience in a room. Instagram. Thanks Yvette, I'm glad you're rewatching from the start. The first one's such a dismal fail. I have nailed it now. Instagram. We all know Instagram is a highly visual platform. If you are unable to take really good quality photos of your art, it may be more challenging for you to sell your art from that platform. It's really important that when you take photos of your art that it is as good quality as you possibly can get. And thanks Paula, you don't have to qualify. Paula just said to me she didn't mean what I was saying. She was just talking about open chats, and I think she thinks that before, when I was talking about 2 different products, what's coming in and out, that I misunderstood. But I am a bit all over the place today because I had a really bad false start an hour and a half ago, and it has thrown me off my game and made me feel really a little bit vulnerable and a little bit tech unco and a little bit, why am I doing this? I can't even do it properly on the first go. But anyway, I'm getting there. Anyway, back to taking your photographs. you know, if you've got a decent quality phone camera, one of the best things you can do is invest in a small, cheaper app. And when I say an app under $10, you know, $10 is not much to invest into yourself that will brighten up your photos and give them the professional edge and quality that, as artists, we need our... I hope you can't hear that vacuum in the background. We need our art to stand out above and beyond just normal kind of photographs on the internet, because we want them to be eye-catching and we want people to pause and go, oh, that's interesting, and through their scrolling stop and go back and have another look at it. So photographing your art is really important, the quality of it. Do the best that you possibly can. Yeah, he is a good husband, that Mr. Saab. Now, in terms of selling your art online, one of the things that I found that can be the most challenging is if you've got many platforms that you have to negotiate. So, for example, at this point in time, I don't do a lot of selling of my art online, but I do a lot of self-promotion and a lot of engaging for my workshops online. And the platforms that I choose to do that through are Facebook and Instagram. Sort of. Not, I don't focus so much on Instagram. It's just sort of partly linked into my Facebook account. And that's really it. Some of it's through word of mouth, some of it's through face-to-face contact. With selling art, I'm very fortunate to have a permanent location where people come and see stuff. Before I had that though, I did start up a website. I was considering going on to Etsy. I became incredibly overwhelmed with the options of even Redbubble, Sashi, then I considered Blue Thumb. By the way, if you're Australian, Blue Thumb are considering opening up a gallery, real live location in Brunswick. So that gives them a upper hand. But try and keep it to about 3 at most. Otherwise, you're going to spend a huge amount of time trying to keep your web presence up to date, fresh and engaging. It's just really, really hard to create your real life products, live your life, and spend a huge amount of time doing the technical stuff. It's just really hard work. So in order to avoid being overwhelmed, it can be useful to have your scope narrower than what you think and really do those well, rather than trying to be seen across all platforms everywhere all at once and not doing the best job you possibly can. The other thing that I've found is once you start developing a relationship with your customers, they just love you and you love them back. So it becomes so much easier to have ongoing conversations, good solid friendships, people going, oh no, I know someone who you can get some really good art from, and referrals that way. So, you know, I'm going back again to that notion of developing a relationship. So, selling art online, it can be a massive task, it can be really overwhelming, but I guess the 3 takeaway things from that conversation: 1, try and decide on 3 platforms to focus on and do them really, really well. Number 2, take the best quality photographs you possibly can. And number 3, behind your art, engage with your audience. Is my work well received locally, Maggie? Well, what happens in my area is that because it's in Daylesford, it's a tourist area, and so I have a changing audience, I guess, and it is really well received. One thing that has become really apparent to me is resin art and flow art, acrylic pouring, and alcohol inks is still really new in the eye of the mainstream. Really new. Like, there are so many people, I would say 95% of people who come and view my stuff are viewing resin art, flow art, and alcohol ink work for the very first time. When we're engaged in a supportive community and immersed in our process, we are overexposed to what we are producing. So we can get quite seeking new ideas and new things all the time, and in a sense of trying to be on top of each other, and accidentally move into competition with our supportive community where we're meant to be collaborating. Our true buying audience isn't each other. Really, it's not, is it? It's the mainstream community. So within ourselves, the best thing that we can do in our groups is support each other and help each other sing our praises, and help encourage each other to go and be seen by the wider world. The wider world still sees our art as brand new. How exciting is that? That means that everybody has an opportunity to be really successful. You know, it's not, we have a possibility of falling into the idea that it's oversaturated, but in the real world it's not overly saturated. It feels saturated to us because we see it everywhere. And this is where I think, for example, people go, oh, but Maggie, Etsy is really saturated with resin art. It is if you are looking specifically for resin art when you go in there. But if you have your Facebook page and developing a relationship with people on Facebook and then referring them to your Etsy shop, they're not finding you from Etsy for the first time. They're finding you from Facebook, and you're using Etsy as your selling platform. So trying to help you see it through a different perspective, trying to help you step away from our community of support, learning and collaboration. It's not your competition, and it's not where you sell your stuff. It's where we inspire each other and hold each other up. It's where we get really good ideas. It's where we brainstorm and troubleshoot with each other. But the real world, this is our real world, the mainstream, I should say, is where our buyers are. So it's a good note to finish on, I think. Can't believe I talked for 27 minutes flat out. I am like a fish underwater, don't you reckon? All right, it's over and out from me. Have an awesome Saturday, and thanks for hanging in there with me throughout my technical difficulties. I wonder what we'll talk about next week. See you then. Bye, Sharon. Love you too.